Okay. Likutei Moharan, Terevav. This, I believe, is we're holding by Sif Daled, Sif Hey. Hold by Sif I believe so, yes. Okay. So now the Rebbe sort of like summarizes what we learned about the formation of the letter Aleph, which is being accomplished by you or by a person receiving, hearing his shame, and keeping quiet. So it says like this: Ki havav shebetoch ha'aleph, the line inside the aleph, the vav, which is the letter vav, hu rakia. You have it?
Simen. Okay, vav,
Hu betoch ha'aleph, hu rakia. That's the sky. That's rakia. That's the firmament. Klal yisagav. Rakia. It means that it is a concoction of all the colors. Hainu abusha. That's the busha. We said the face changes colors. V'nekuda tachtoino, and the lower nekuda yashtiko v'admimo. That's the silence and the keeping quiet. K'mo shekosu v'aretz adom raglai, and the aretz is the rest. Is the ornament of my feet. Is the rest. Is the footrest. Is my footrest. Hadom is the shon dmima, being quiet, being silent. V'zeh pchinas chirik. This corresponds, in when you formulate this state in the vowels system. This is the chirik. This is symbolized by the chirik, as it is said, v'tachas raglav, and what is under its feet. It says, v'aretz hadom raglai, and the land is hadom raglai, is eating of dmima, of being quiet. In another pasuk, v'tachat raglav, it says, and under its feet, when Zikni Israel come up to Har Sinai, they see the Kovod Hashem. They see Kovod Hashem, v'tachas raglav, kelivnas asmasa livnas asopim. Like the Matzah Livnas Asopir, the whiteness of the white brick of sapphire, this is the lowest nekuda of the aleph. That's the lower left point of the aleph. V'nekuda elyoino, and now the upper nekuda is called kise. Kise. That's called kise. Why is it called kise? The miskase, because it's covered up. Remember we said that the Kesa Elyon, the Luminat Hashem, has to be covered up because otherwise it will burn up. It's called Kisa. Pchinas Tshuva. The Tshuva is called Kesel. Kesel is the color. Why? So why is it covered? Because we said before, Kvod Elokim, Esther Davar. The Kovod Hashem has to be hidden. So this is the hiding, this is the concealment. That which is covered from you, don't investigate. Why? We don't have any way of understanding it. Our brains are not wired, not hardwired to understand it. And this is what the Novi said. We actually read it in the Haftorah yesterday. And above the firmament, which is above their heads, like the sight, like the vision of the stone of sapphire stone, Dmus kise, that looks like a kise. Because Even Sapir, a sapphire stone, alludes to the high nekuda of the aleph, which is above the vav, which is the rakia, and this completes the tmun of aleph. Now, you may have noticed something interesting. top Nakuda, which is the Keser, is called Even Sapir.
Sapphire.
Stone. The lower Nakuda is called Livna Sapir.
Limnas.
Livna Sapir, a brick of sapphire. That's the lower, that's the Chir. The top is Even Sapir. And the bottom is a brick of sapphire. The highest is sapphire, and the lowest is sapphire. So what's going on here? The answer is, as we said, the highest is connected to the lowest, because the highest, the Kesser, if you remember, is the cause. The lowest is the effect. The effect is really the actualization, the expression of the cause. So if it's a good expression of the cause is sapir. The effect is sapir. In the beginning it's called Even, and the end is called Livnas, which we use to say as brick. It also means the whiteness of the sapir.
The what?
The whiteness, Livnas, the whiteness, Laman. I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago, when we were talking about the spheres, said that we gave a mashal that the spheres is very much like a projector, a movie projector. You have, the white light that comes out of the bulb. That the electricity that is going through the resistor, as you call it. There's a tekesa. It produces the light, which is the chachma. It goes through the film. These are the colors. This is the old spheres. It goes through the lens, which is the yesod. It focuses it. And it's focused on a screen. And the screen itself is white again. Same as the original light was white. The ultimate malchus, the ultimate screen, also has to be light. Has to be white. Otherwise, you take a screen that has all kind of colors in it, you won't be able to see the movie, right? Then we said the malchus, the less really gamev milaklum. The malchus has to have nothing of its own, totally white, empty. Then you can see all the movies in the world on it. If the malchus brings something to the table, take a painting, show a movie on it, you'll never be able to see anything. So it's only that the white of the malchus is called, but it's an empty white. It's an empty white that is waiting to be filled. The white that comes out of the filament is such a white, such an unlimited white, that really it includes all the movies in the world. What actually the film does, it limits all the different movies, possible movies, into one. That's the one. It blocks everything else. Because what is a filter? The red filter blocks all the other colors except red. The green blocks all the other colors except green. The yellow blocks all the other colors except yellow. Basically what the film does, because the light goes through the film, right? And all the colors are shining through. What it does is that it keeps all the other possible colors except for this and this and this and this to make together a specific picture. But the white light that goes through the filament could show any movie. You know, it has all the movies, you know, in potential, all the movies in it. It all depends what do you block out. You know, you have to block out all of them except for one, and then you see them this particular movie. But the light itself, it's unlimited. How many movies, you know, it can show, right? It can tell all the stories in the world. Now, the film is blocking out all of it because it's so much you won't be able to tell differentiate any story at all if you let more than one movie come through. The screen is the opposite. It's totally empty. It can receive any of them. It doesn't block out it. It receives everything you give it, it receives. The first light, you have to pair off and just let one through. The screen is totally empty. Just give me, you know, and whatever it is, through this you can get it. That's why the top is called Even Sapir.
Yeah.
That's the white light that goes through, that includes everything possible. Has to go through the film, through the rakia, through the vav. What it does is mechas, it covers all the other stories that we're not telling now, except for one, and projects it on the livna sapir. That's why the taban must be covered. If you have no film, you just show white, all you see is white, you don't see any stories at all. So the cover the elyon has to be, it's called kisa, because it has to be totally covered, except for whatever it is that we're bringing through. And then when this happens, because the Even Sapir, you know, it's talking about the upper nakuda, which is above the vav, which is the rakia, which is the filter, which is the film. This completes the form of aleph, right? We have the upper dot, the line, and the lower dot. This brings about, you know, the completion of you become a man, which is aleph dam. You take aleph and you connect it to the dam, which situation you were before. As we said before, this is what the pasuk says. And what does that do? It says and on top of the kisa, the Rabbi said, the top of the kisa, by the way, I said something wrong, probably not for the first time. What the after we said yesterday was Yeshayahu, it was not Yechezkel. Here we're talking about Yechezkel's Yitzira. Yesterday we spoke about Vayer'eh Es Hashem, you know, Yoshev al Kisei, sitting on a chair, and the chair fills out the world. He says, Vayer'eh, I saw, he says he saw a vision of Hashem sitting on the Kisei through the Olam Abriya. Here we're talking about Olam Yetzirah. This is a lower world. Okay. So after we have already explained that when a person hears his bizoyon, hears his shame, and he keeps quiet, and he makes tshuva, he becomes aleph. Okay? And through this, we just make a little synopsis. And through this, you are zoichet to be a man to sit on a chair. Now, we're explaining that when a person is able to be zoichet to this aleph, and by the way, this happens, you know, you come home and your wife, you know, this is you or whatever, and you keep quiet, and this is what's happening. It's not enough to go somewhere and somebody officer says, you, why, I can't believe, you scoundrel, you, I can't believe. No, it's with your wife, with your kids, you know, that, this. This is what the thing that makes it happen. Now, what we're saying is that when you're zoichet to b'chinas aleph, that is another secret happens, is as if up to now it wasn't enough.
The kids are.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. Now we're seeing, listen, there's another interrelation between the Yud and the Av. It's all the same principle, as you'll notice, we spoke about in previous Torahs. Now it becomes a yichud, a unification between the sun and the moon. So remember, Torah Aleph, the sun is the Chachma, and the moon is the Malchus. Remember that?
The sun is the
Is the Chachma.
Right, it's the light that's
Right. And the moon is the Malchus, that's the recipient. This is when we spoke about the projector, when we learned Torah Aleph. And this is the relationship between Moshe and Yeshua. Moshe is like the sun, and Yeshua, with this Talmud, is like the moon. And it says, Pnei Moshe k'pnei Chama. I think the Gemara says, or it's a Medrash, I'm not sure. We'll find it in there. That Pnei Moshe k'pnei Chama, Pnei Yeshua k'pnei Levana. The face of Moshe is like Chama, and Pnei Yeshua is like Pnei Levana, and the Medrash says, Oy lo isabusho. Wow for that shame. Al pi pshat, it simply means, I mean, Baruch Hashem, Yeshua, whatever it is, but when you compare yourself to when you go to Elam Haba and you see Moshe, you know, you're ashamed. I mean, it says every tzaddik, you know, will see his friend in Elam Haba who is bigger than him, and he'll be embarrassed, you know. I mean, where am I, you know, like, it's like, you know, who am I? You know, it's like, you know, this in the shul, it can be like, you know, the wealthy guy. He's the one who owns the supermarket. He's Mr. Big, you know. He's like, you know. And then suddenly comes a guy. He owns a chain of supermarkets all over. He's like a almost like a billionaire. So the local guy, suddenly becomes, you know, it's okay, you know. All because compared to the big guy, you know, he's nothing, right? So over here, the same thing. In Olam Haba, every tzaddik, you know, then they'll see the different madrigas in the tzaddikim. So the kol tzaddik nichva michuposo shel chaveiro. Every tzaddik is like being singed, is like chaps burn from the light of his friend, because the friend is so big compared to him. He's a joke. I mean, it's like, so pnei Moshe pnei Chama. The face of Moshe is like sun. The Yeshua is like Levanas, oy lo isabusha. Whoa, for that shame. But over here, you will see that there's a connection between Pnei Moshe, which is the sun, Pnei Yeshua, which is the moon, and how did we get this whole thing? Through the busha. When you keep inquiring with the busha, it's all in there. It's all in there. This is like this. V'as, when a person is zeichet of Pchinas Aleph, this makes a unification between the sun and the moon. In other words, these supernal aspects that are called sun and moon, which are the root of the physical sun and moon. We're talking about spiritual concept. We're not talking about physical idiotic. That the sun shines to the moon. When the sun, Yichud ben Moshe and Yeshua. And this makes a unit between Moshe and Yeshua. And the reason for it is the Gemara says in Baba Basra, Pnei Moshe k'pnei Chama. The face of Moshe is like the face of the sun. And he says that Pnei Yeshua k'pnei Levana, the face of Yeshua is like the face of the Levana. Meaning to say, it means to say that Yeshua did not reach the level of Moshe. He didn't reach the same madriga. So you see that Moshe corresponds to sun, to the Chama. Da nekuda elyoina, that's the upper nekuda, on top of the olive, which is the kesed, Pchinas Kisa, Pchinas Moshe. And about David HaMelech, about the throne of David HaMelech, now what the Rebbe trying to do, what the Rebbe is doing is he's showing you that the Nekuda Elyon, which is called Kisa, because Mechusah corresponds to sun. We have a pasuk in Tehillim, V'chisoi kashemesh kenegdi, and his throne is like a sun before me. The throne of the Melech. So you see that Kisa and Shemesh are one thing. Kisa is Shemesh. So Moshe, which is Shemesh, is the Kisa. And the Kisa is the upper Nekuda. And this is Ubechinas, Mimala Rakia, and above the firmament, which is above their heads, there's Evan Sapir, there is a stone of sapphire, Dmus Kisa, the form of a chair. So you see that Evan Sapir, a stone, a sapphire stone, is also alluding to Kesa, which is Kisa, which is Bchinas, Moshe, Bchinas Shemesh. Now what we did, we connected Moshe to Shemesh, to Kisa, to Kovod, Nekuda Elyono. These are all one thing. They are different names of the same thing. It's also Kesa Elyon, it's also Betzacharotzon. This is all one thing, but this is all different ways of looking at it. In the union of Nefesh, this is Moshe. In the union of the celestial bodies, the spiritual bodies, this is the Chanukah. In the union of Kovod, the Kovod Elyon, Kovod Hashem, Asnadava, these are all different names. And this is the derech of Likutei Moharan Bichlal that the Rebbe makes, this is the through parallels. There's one system, and then this is parallel to another system. And the Rebbe is walking from one to the next, until he wraps it all together. By the way, it is very important to continuously say the Tefillah Vav while we're learning this. It helps the learning, and the learning helps the Tefillah, and it works together. So it's greatly, greatly recommended. Continue with Yeshua tomorrow.